Oh my goodness me, it is October, and do you know what, with all the warm weather we've had this month, the garden looks kind of the same as it did last month. However, there are going to be a couple of cold nights coming up, and probably a little bit of frost. It wouldn't surprise me. So we've brought in some of the tender plants. I don't want those getting damaged, and what I thought I would do is show you around the garden as a October garden tour, simply because this is probably the last time it's going to look good. There's a good chance that a lot of the stuff's going to get damaged. That requires more maintenance, and you know, then we're going to do that slippy slide down into late autumn and winter. So put your coat on and we'll have a walk around. Come on then. So on the whole, the garden, you know, on a face value is looking pretty good. It's looking pretty tidy. A lot of the I mean, some of the plants are starting to change their leaf colour, starting to draw in those nutrients and starches and carbohydrates back into the stems, and where I've seen those colour changes, I've sort of been removing a few of those to still make it look quite fresh. But you know, on the way, it's you know, it's still looking pretty good. Look, I mean, look, it's classic. You know, the vines, you've got a vine here, you've got a vine on that structure over the back there. They're both turning. I'm not taking these leaves off, otherwise I'll be doing that all day. But you can see it's autumn, just in case you thought I might be faking it. And we've got the brugmansia here, and you can see these flower buds are getting bigger and bigger. I'm hoping, I know it's going to be a bit cold tonight, but I'm hoping, oh, you know, I could put some fleece on this, that these will still flower. I know come in a few days, it's actually the nighttime temperatures are going to be right back up again and lovely. So I do expect those to come into flower, and I'm quite looking forward to showing you those when they do. But on the whole, this border is looking good. We've still got a lot of flower. We've got the these salvias, that's Hampstead, they're still in flower. You've got the fuchsias here, that's Blackie, that's a great one. And you've got Thania there, that's a trifoliate group, that's still in flower. And even the canna lilies, look, we've still got loads of bud waiting to come through. And the reason for that is because we deadheaded these. You can see those cuts, the old cuts, deadheaded those old flowers, and it encourages the plant to put out some more. But it's all still looking quite fresh and tidy. The dichondra looks good, and we overwintered this last year in the garage, and look at this, what a wonderful thick specimen. Really keen on that. And still a little bit of flower over there. What else is going on? Yeah, these these coleus. Now they'll need to come in from the cold. It's going to be too cold for these guys, so these will come in, because as soon as they get too cold, just a bit wobbly there, then that colour will completely fade up, and it'll be the slippery slope for these. I won't take it anymore, but most of this stuff will stay outside. Let's come over here a bit further. Got some good growth on this season. Look, there you go, bit of colour change in there, but I'll leave that there. Swiss cheese plant, that's put on some good size, and again, these will take a couple of degrees below zero for short periods, so I'm going to leave these out. These will be absolutely fine. The palm, the Trachycarpus fortunei, I don't know if you saw the videos when we put this in the spring, but it's really bulked up in some size. I'm hoping for good things next year, and this has done well. I'm really pleased with this. The old Spanish reed, oh, forgotten its botanical name now. Arondo Donax, yeah, and this is versicolor. And there's another variegated form which is called variegated, with a more, rather than cream margins, it's got white margins. It's really striking. It's a bit expensive, but do you know what? I quite like this. You see this planted a lot down at Great Dixter. It's a really good plant there. And that's that other vine. Look at it. Start to see the colour change. But again, this only went in this year. And even though it's you've got that colour change, so it's getting ready, preparing to drop those leaves, it's still producing new growth at the ends here. And we've got the twisted bay trees. So we don't really talk about these actually, because there's not really a lot to say apart from make sure it's nicely clipped, keep it in good condition. The tree's looking good. It's nearly finished dropping its apples. Still got a few to go. You just got to be careful that you're not under it when it's dropping. Oh, look at that, it's still nice, isn't it? Now, this is, you know, when you recognise this as a spider plant from I think South Africa, around from there. And again, a lot of people will leave these out, so it's looking really impressive. It's done so well outside this year. I'm really pleased with that. And this variegated Nepeta, it's going to run out of steam now. Yeah, and the cooler nights It sort of hasn't grown any further. It's not putting out any new tendrils. That's kind of the end of it. But this has done well. The old Black Eye Susie, which is I think it's a sunrise. It's an orange form. It's usually yellow, the species, but again, it's really done a lovely display this year. It's sort of, I know some of these are finished now, but yeah, I've been really impressed with this. I'll definitely plant that one again. And you know, if you saw our early video, that's the agave that we put on. And even though a lot of people will just leave those out and won't do anything with them, I will be putting some protection on that, and I'll do a video later to show you how we've done that. So this border is still not doing too bad. I mean, the Formian, that really hasn't grown much since we put that in, but the old Imperial Dahlia or Tree Dahlia, that's still doing fine, and hopefully if it doesn't get too cold, you know, we may get some flower buds around about November, so next month. But I'm not sure. There's not much really happening with these. There's a bigger one over there. Maybe that will do the trick. On the whole, it's not too bad. We have got, look at this. This is the old Mizella Laziocarpa. Look, we've had a bit of a storm. Had some strong winds, and this is always prone to snapping off that salvia. That's the Hapston that we had earlier. But that's Mizella Laziocarpa, that hardy banana. Golden Lotus, I think it is. I'll show a picture of that flower on that. It's really quite striking. This really struggled last year. It got too cold for it, but it did come through, and hopefully if this year it's a bit milder, then we should get a good show next year. But it is starting to run out of steam because lower light levels, lower temperatures, and you can see that expressed on this Racina. See, the new leaves are coming out much smaller, much more open habit. It's starting to look a bit sad, but you know, on the whole, it did a really cracking job this year, and I quite like these. I still like these seed pods here. Hopefully, if I dry these off later, there might be some seeds in them, and sow those again next year. Really good. This is the main border. And that wonderful hardy banana in there, and that's getting close to full height now. And we transplanted that last spring. Yeah, 2 stems, and now we've got I think 4 or 5 big stems in there now. 1, 2, 3, 4 big ones, medium one here, little one there. So it's really picked up. I'm hoping that next spring it's mature enough and big enough to put out some flower. So I'll be quite keen to see that, just so long as we get a mild winter. There's been a bit more maintenance in it, just to sort of open it up, you know, with the strong, you know, early autumn storms. We get to knock over some of these cannas, but you know, you take them out, you thin them out, it gets a little bit more light in there, and it's, you know, take off all the yellow leaves, and it still looks quite fresh. It's not bad at all. One thing that is doing still quite well is that Enset Ventricosum morellii, that purple-leaved banana. That's really putting on some size now. That went in beginning of the year because I like to overwinter them in situ, so I'll put some fleece on it, put a bag over it, and I'll put a dry mulch around the base to try and keep that going. And again, if it's a mild winter, that will grow through. So but if I plant that late, it doesn't establish well enough to take that cold. So I'm looking forward to that recovering well next year. And this is the last border that we've planted up. It is an important border because it's the one that gets most of the sun. It's the one that we see from the house. So there are still patches in there that will need to be filled with some new plants. I've got some idea of some new plants in the spring, but I'm not going to put anything in really until the last frost go. But I'm keen to see how this goes. We're going to plant a load of bulbs in it. Yeah, that's interesting. That's a hardy aloe, and we took these from cuttings this spring, put those in, and they've taken. You've got all the new growth, and again, if it's not too cold, that'll do absolutely fine. And if you've seen some of that other videos, you saw that we put in this agave. It's a bit beaten up when we bought it, but we got a fantastic price from Market Facebook place. So I'm hoping that will do well. We'll do a video on that, on the overwintering, because even though it'll probably survive quite fine, I want to keep it in really good condition. And there you go, that's the last dahlia that's finally flowered. I mean, better late than never, I suppose, but a big show of blooms, so thanks very much. So that is it for our October garden tour, and it's great that it still looks nice and on the whole pretty fresh. I mean, it's not as flowery as it has been during the rest of the year, but you know, things are going to be changing really soon. We've already brought in a number of plants which hopefully after this cold spell they'll go back outside again, but it's you know full well that soon there's going to be some hard frost and there's going to be some big changes in the gardens. Things will dry back. I mean, the thing with these tropical effect exotic gardens is that a lot of the plants are kind of herbaceous, so that, you know, all the dahlias will die back, or the cannas will die back. There's lots of plants that will suddenly just disappear into the ground. You won't see it, and the place will be bare. Which is why it's so important to make sure you've got plenty of structure using evergreens like your palms, your big cordylines, your phormiums. You know, you need to get these in so that even in the winter, because you've got a good 5 months where it's not going to be looking fantastic, but you still want stuff that's looking nice. So over the past sort of year or so, we've been adding more and more stuff for spring displays, bulbs, you know, to get more colour and interest throughout the year. Otherwise you're kind of restricted from about June to October, so it's only June. So that's 5 months where your garden's going to look lush, and the rest of it's going to look pretty sad. Anyway, you got any questions, if there's any plants you see in the garden that you want me to identify, then just leave that in the comments with the time number on it, and I can get back to you, or anything else you want to put in there, because we'd love to hear from you. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.